Hello drummers, Garey Williams back. I'm going to go through the double stroke roll with the traditional grip. So a couple little reminders. If you didn't see my first installment of the single stroke roll with the traditional grip, the first thing we want to do is find the balance point on the left stick. So we want to slide the stick up and down the hand till we achieve the location that has the greatest number of free rebounding strokes. So that's going to be about where the flag is on the Vic First stick. So I'm going to place that in this hand, and so I'm going to demonstrate the double stroke roll, slow to fast to slow, and then we're going to talk about some of the ways in which I'm able to do what I'm doing. Okay, now there are basically three dimensions to technique, and that is you're controlling the down and up movement of the stick. The other extreme is the stick is doing all the work by simply dropping and allowing it to bounce. And then there's a little blend of the two. So if you do a little bit of wrist and allow the stick to a little bit of bounce, I call that a wrist bounce blend. So when I'm starting off the roll, I'm using more of a wristing approach with a little bit of bounce. And as the speed increases, I use less wrist, more bounce, and switch to all bounce. And as I get to a certain rate of speed, I need a little more horsepower. Now if I continue to use just wrists, I'll end up pinching and throwing the stick down too hard. So at this point, I engage the arm, and then I start using more of a karate chop movement, thereby just holding the stick firmly enough to produce the right amount of bounces at the right amount of speed. And then when I get slowly, I can just let it go, or I can do the wrist bounce blend. A similar approach happens in this hand. So the fulcrum is really the web of the palm between the thumb and this fleshy part in your hand. So if I'm holding the stick here, I can use a wrist bounce blend here. Only my thumb is required. Now as I increase the rate of speed, I'm going to need a little more help. I could do it all with the thumb, but at this point I start to bring the index finger over the top of the stick. Notice how I'm using a little bit more arm in a karate chop fashion. The faster I get, the more I'm bringing the index finger over. Till at this point I'm just using more of a karate chop technique. And as I slow back down, I can go to just more of a wrist bounce, turning my hand sideways like I'm turning a doorknob, allowing it to bounce. Okay, so you may have noticed, and I'm going to do this one more time, that when I start off in the right hand, I'm using more of a mid-hand grip. The middle finger is holding onto the stick, and you notice my index finger is just hanging out. This puts a little bit more weight in the sound as I'm shifting my grip from the flag slightly back, so it's a little heavier, a little less bounce, but at this rate of speed, I don't require a lot of control because I'm not bouncing very quickly. So I start out with a very lazy grip in both hands, really trying to keep the sound open. Sounds a little different between the right and left sticks. Listen. A little heavier on the right, lighter on the left, because the stick is on top of the hands. Now as I go faster, you'll notice my index finger and my right hand begin to come around to the bottom of the stick. Similarly, the index finger in the left hand comes around to the top of the stick. So as I'm going faster and faster and faster, I begin to use thumb and index finger both hands. And then right about at this point, I'm adding my middle finger to the bottom of the stick to help out the index finger. So I'm not overly pinching the stick with just the thumb and index finger. And then I get into using more arm, lower the sticks, using height to generate more speed. Let's go up and down the roller coaster again. That's how I like to do this. Getting a little bit easier, more round, And this time I'm going to see if I can go a little faster and a little lower. A little tough to do sometimes. It pinches out at that speed. So, all right. So hopefully this has been helpful. Here I end up back with this very lazy grip, very open sound. And that's the double stroke roll with the traditional grip. I'll have more coming up soon. Good luck to you. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye-bye.